Hello, I'm Rick Schaldhouse, and because things on the internet seem to lose their date references pretty easily, today is June 6, 2025, which just happens to be the 81st anniversary of the invasion of mainland Europe through Normandy. And on this day, 81 years ago, my dad was jumping with the 101st Airborne into France, Normandy, and being totally lost. On June 2nd, 2025, which was a Monday, we stopped at the Deming Luna MimBres Museum. We were headed out of New Mexico back to San Diego County, and showed up at the Deming Luna MimBres Museum. And that was a fantastic stop off. We're going to show you the video, which is kind of short, but this is an absolutely beautiful museum. It is very diverse in its presentation. Free parking, free admission, relatively close to I-10, easy off, easy on, and a lot of stuff to see. And we had interactions with several staff, whether they're volunteers, docents, whatever. It was absolutely fantastic. So if you're looking for a place to stretch your legs along the I-10 coming into on the western edge of New Mexico, this museum, Deming Luna MimBres Museum, which Luna MimBres means wicker moon. It's not an actual phase of the moon, it's a type of art presentation. So the internet tells me. Let's get on with the internet. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in another one.
This is the building that the Deming Luna MimBres Museum is in, and you enter it by going around to the side and down a flight of stairs into the basement, and that's where you start. This building has a long history. It's been an armory, it's been a USO headquarters, it's been a museum. It's been a lot of things. When we checked in, we got a very good briefing from the individual who did the check-in, and it was impressive. A USO, National Guard, the museum, and a few other things along the way. So it's been a number of things, and it's very, very well maintained. It sits next to Veterans Park, or it sits on Veterans Park, and there's numerous items out there. Don't see much, but it was here. Don't see much for Desert Storm. Vietnam is fairly common. Vietnam was here. World War II was here. World War I. Quite a few of the conflicts were recognized in Veterans Park here, which was very nice. One of the things that makes the Deming Luna MimBres Museum notable is that it has a wide variety of artifacts covering numerous things, and I'm going to define this room as the toy room. It is probably 30 feet wide by 60 feet long and absolutely covered with toys, including Cabbage Patch, which we thought was really cool, and the village on top of the display cases. So we spent several minutes just walking around looking at toys that we used to have or that we know about. There was quite a bit of Native American handmade pottery and artwork from a variety of sources, statues, memorabilia around the museum, which was absolutely beautiful. And we didn't I took photos of it. I'm not going to show it all to you. I love craftsmanship and woodworking, and sitting in the museum is this Sontag clock, and I'm leaving the signage up here so you can read it. 18 years old, he built this German Ferret Works clock. It's 4 to 5 feet high, and the workmanship is absolutely beautiful. Interesting that they tell you how to find out more information about the creator of this clock, but it's absolutely beautiful. There were several tables that were set up with china, flatware, glassware, whatever else, and they were all done really, really well. This, I think, is one of the few that I'm going to show you, and several cabinets of silver pots, urns, plates, whatever else. Really beautiful, nicely done. Just a lot of craftsmanship in this. I don't take many selfies, but this one was one that I was kind of forced to take. Here's this mirror, and I'm just going to read it. Silent witness: on March 9th, 1916, this mirror was hanging in the drugstore of C.C. Miller in Columbus, New Mexico. Between the hours of 4:20 a.m. and 6:20 a.m., it saw the looting and the burning of the Pancho Villa raid. The store was shot up and the owner was killed. Still today we have this silent witness to that part of the history of New Mexico. And because it's a mirror, the only way I could get a picture of it was me in it. Now, I took this shot down the hallway, one of the hallways of the museum, just to give you an idea of this museum. And we're still in the basement. Yeah, I think we're still in the basement. Anyways, one of the reasons I took the picture of the mirror is the Pancho Villa raid was the raid that initiated Pershing's chase of Pancho Villa into Mexico, and with him was a young cavalry officer, George Patton, and mounting machine guns on cars of the time were some of the issues, some of the exposures that brought Patton into the mechanical war that he would fight in World War II and in World War I. There is quite a few of artifacts on display in the Deming Luna MimBres Museum, Deming, New Mexico, of the various wars that were conflicts that Deming played a role in one form or another. World War I, World War II, Desert Storm, Korea, Vietnam, obviously not in chronological order. And in Veterans Park you have the memorials, or the memorabilia, the monuments, and inside the museums you have these numerous displays. So there are generally, just as one of those things that some Americans do, if you have a family member in the U.S. military, you hang that pennant in your front window with the blue star on it. If you have lost a family member in service, you hang a gold one. The signage here goes back to World War II, but I think this has remained relevant, fortunately, since the concept was created, and thankfully. During World War II, Deming Army Airfield was built to train bombardiers, and the history of it indicates that there were over 8,000 cadets that were trained here on how to do high-altitude bombing with the Norden bomb site. A lot of sites through the United States were adapted to the U.S. military, and this museum building served, as I understood it, as part of the World War II support effort. During World War II, Deming Army Airfield was built to train bombardiers, and the history of it indicates that there were over 8,000 cadets that were trained here on how to do high-altitude bombing with the Norden bomb site. A lot of sites through the United States were adapted to the U.S. military, and this museum building served, as I understood it, as part of the World War II support effort. So there are generally, just as one of those things that some Americans do, if you have a family member in the U.S. military, you hang that pennant in your front window with the blue star on it. If you have lost a family member in service, you hang a gold one. The signage here goes back to World War II, but I think this has remained relevant, fortunately, since the concept was created, and thankfully. So there are generally, just as one of those things that some Americans do, if you have a family member in the U.S. military, you hang that pennant in your front window with the blue star on it. If you have lost a family member in service, you hang a gold one. The signage here goes back to World War II, but I think this has remained relevant, fortunately, since the concept was created, and thankfully. So there are generally, just as one of those things that some Americans do, if you have a family member in the U.S. military, you hang that pennant in your front window with the blue star on it. If you have lost a family member in service, you hang a gold one. The signage here goes back to World War II, but I think this has remained relevant, fortunately, since the concept was created, and thankfully. So there are generally, just as one of those things that some Americans do, if you have a family member in the U.S. military, you hang that pennant in your front window with the blue star on it. If you have lost a family member in service, you hang a gold one. The signage here goes back to World War II, but I think this has remained relevant, fortunately, since the concept was created, and thankfully. So there are generally, just as one of those things that some Americans do, if you have a family member in the U.S. military, you hang that pennant in your front window with the blue star on it. If you have lost a family member in service, you hang a gold one. The signage here goes back to World War II, but I think this has remained relevant, fortunately, since the concept was created, and thankfully. So there are generally, just as one of those things that some Americans do, if you have a family member in the U.S. military, you hang that pennant in your front window with the blue star on it. If you have lost a family member in service, you hang a gold one. The signage here goes back to World War II, but I think this has remained relevant, fortunately, since the concept was created, and thankfully. I kind of like keeping things in order, and I'm failing in that because I have way too many pictures. This picture here is a wall of a whole bunch of carpentry tools, and there were other tools in this wall too, and I had a couple of close-ups that for some reason just didn't take. We also found a really good gem geode display, and here's a couple of those presentations. As I said, this museum had a lot of variety in it. We both laughed at this one because there is a Harvey Girls museum section up in another railroad museum that we're members of. We've been to the Harvey Girl Museum in Barstow, California, I believe it is, and we found them in several other museums. We're back into the rooms, and the way the rooms were set up, which were really nice, was in this wide L-shaped hall, as I remember. There's rooms on each side, and I photographed the rooms on, say, the left side going in, which is what I did. Then we went back, saw where the fire trucks were, and that Studebaker Lark, and then coming back out. These are now the rooms on my left side as I'm leaving it, and I'm just going to go through these. And interesting rooms, all really well done. There were several coaches, carriages, buggies in the museum. There were no stagecoaches. I will tell you this as we kind of move through this and just let some of the pictures go by that shows life in the past. I would say this is a child-friendly museum, but you need to keep your children restrained. There are things that they can get their hands on that are very valuable, very fragile, the dinnerware, whatever else. There are no game areas that I noticed where they can play, where they can handle stuff, where they can build stuff. But there's a lot of stuff in here for them to see and to go at, particularly if they're older than, I'm going to say just arbitrarily, the age of about 10, where you can talk to them and explain things to them and read things to them. Really cool. I thought I was going to be able to expand the text on this so that we could read it. I can't read it, but I assume somebody important came over from England in 1910 time frame, 1914 maybe, and ended up in Deming, New Mexico, associated with this. And the next one is a presentation of a woman in her wedding dress, and which was beautiful. The New Mexico National Guard USO basketball court. So this was a USO building at one time. As shown here, the museum has a wide variety of items to look at. They had the school sports heroes. These rooms representative of the times in earlier history of Deming. I really like this the pillow, and I think I'm going to have my wife figure out how to make that, or we'll see what patterns are there. And we get over to the medical room, and the medical room was interesting, and I'm going to let it stop up here somewhere after the iron lung, because there's an issue I want to get into here. This gizmo was on the wall in the medical room with the iron lung and whatever else, and you're seeing the general photo and the close-up photo, and then you're seeing 2 pages of instructions on how to operate this thing. I'm kind of interested because on the bottom right hand corner of the second page, it's Hammond, Indiana, which is literally a suburb of Chicago, where we're from. Now, I have no idea what this thing does, so I look it up on Google, and this is Google's AI response, and I'm going to let you read it by pausing the system, and don't mind me if I stop recording for a minute because I'm about to laugh. As I said earlier, there's a lot of variety in this museum, which makes it fun. I learned how to operate basically this type of switchboard when I worked at Montgomery Ward's in the very early 1970s. And we had switches that rang the phones internally and allowed you to tap into a line, whatever. It was kind of fun. And I learned how to operate a special adding machine that you could take the dimensions of lumber and enter them, like 98 or 96 by 4 by 2 by $1.25, or it would be like 4 cents a cubic inch, and it would tell you how much that particular piece of lumber was based on cubic inch of lumber, which was really interesting. Numerous pieces of glassware throughout the museum on display, china as in dinnerware, plates, cups, saucers, sugar bowls, things like that, which make the museum a bit fragile. Now these are behind glass, so they're kind of protected. So it is, in my opinion, overall interesting for children, because there's a lot to see and there's a lot of variety, but I think you need to keep them restrained. Off on one of the exhibit stands is this cover of Playboy magazine, and I'm going, oh, that's interesting to be here. It's here because it's in Braille, and I'm going, okay, Playboy magazine in Braille. And they explained that the Braille issue contains the text of the magazine, not the pictorials. So kind of there. I did some internet search and found out that the National Library Service, Library of Congress, still publishes it in Braille. So if you're a Playboy fan and you lose your sight, you can still keep reading the articles. I'm going to wrap up this video and go back to the outside of the building. Actually a very beautiful building, obviously old, very well maintained, very nicely done. The museum is very, very pleasant. The staff, docents, volunteers, and I assume most of them are volunteers, are extremely cordial. We really enjoyed it. We spent about 2 hours there because we were operating on a schedule that we were headed off to our next stop, which was the Rex Allen, Arizona Cowboy Museum, which we knew was closed, but we wanted to see the town of Wilcox, Arizona. And I'm Rex Allen, so there's a story there. We really enjoyed this museum. This museum was fun, and as I've said, it's children friendly, but I would kind of restrict them to children that are controllable and probably 10 years old or older, ones that you can talk to and explain exhibits to and that are interested. We didn't see any games for them to play. We didn't see any machines for them to be interactive with, and there's a lot of delicate items, artifacts in this museum, a lot of opportunity for them to get into trouble. We love this museum. They do ask for donations. There's not an admission fee. Parking is free out on the street, and we really enjoyed it. If we're through the area again, we're going to stop, even if it's only for half an hour, 45 minutes, just to stretch our legs. We're gonna pull into here again. This was an enjoyable museum and well worth the time, and we appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in another one.